in India. Even if you have like an NRI account or something like that,
I think there are two types of NRI accounts. One is you can have it in dollar denomination, but that doesn't.
You can't withdraw it in dollars. So what's the? It's just numbers. So yeah, you basically I think what it is that you can decide the time when you convert.
Yeah. You
can convert at a favorable exchange rate, but I really don't think it makes that much difference because the dollar and the rupee are not that different. They pretty much follow each other. So if the dollar goes down, that means the rupee's going to go down too. That's why we would want to get out of cash and into something stable like gold and silver. And we already researched that. There's a lot of different ways of buying gold and silver in India. Some of them are better than others. When we get there, we're going to, really look into it and find out the best deal.
Like we have Fed here, they have Reserve Bank in India. And Fed here is printing bills like crazy. So are they. The Reserve Bank of India is also printing rupee notes like crazy.
Is it? Have
so
they?
They're almost like they're following what US is doing. They just keep the track and they just follow exactly.
I see. So that's why there's been so much investment by the government recently, like in the universities and like that. I see. Yeah.
Infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure. Roads are, you'll find roads are totally, highways, I don't know when you went last.
So you don't have to like go between the trucks and the herds of goats and it used to be like I'd have to like cover my eyes. I can't look, to drive down the middle of the road, right? Because there's like animals and people and horse carts and scooters and bicycles and yaks and who knows what else on the side of the road. So everybody drives down the middle of the road, and at the last possible second, or even a little bit after, they just swerve and just miss each other by a fraction of an inch. I don't know. It's like I can't look. And any machine, whether it's a car or a bus or a PA system or anything, will be operated at its maximum output at all times. So anyway, so maybe they've gotten used to it a little bit now. But anyway, we want to look into this situation and see what's the best way to buy, what's the best way to store, like that. Mother Swati, didn't you suggest, where'd she go? Oh, there you are. Didn't you suggest to store, get a locker in a local bank? What was your suggestion exactly? You said get a locker in a local bank that's owned by the state or something like that?
The banks in India are nationalized. They initially, back in 70s when we had crisis, at that time India also went through a crisis. And emergency.
I was there.
Oh, okay. So the whole nationalization of the banks took place. And so those banks are still, they have full backing of Reserve Bank of India. And if Citibank, for example, goes down, I'm not sure the access to money, even in the branches of Citibank outside of US, how it will be impacted, or even access to locker or things like that. But nationalized banks, for lockers in nationalized banks might be a better option.
I think you wrote me that a locker in a nationalized bank that has a lot of local ownership or something like that, wasn't it?
Banks in India also have been computerized in last 10 years heavily, but it's not as uniform as in US, at least the last that I know of. So some smaller center banks still have local systems like the way they used to have, where there is a big register of 2 people's signature and some password for accessing locker. So one of your prediction was that because of the sun flare, if the internet is affected, that will take the whole banking system down completely, depending on where it is hit. And if the access to locker is based on the proper working of the internet and proper working of computer system, then even though when we need to make use of gold, it may be in the locker of a computerized bank, but we can't get to it. So that way, a low-level option where they still follow older protocol might be a good possibility.
We've looked around different places in India, and the area that I'm really attracted to is way, way down south, near Cape Comorin, but in the central area. And there's plenty of water, which for South India these days is unusual. Most of South India is very dry now. Andhra Pradesh and most of Tamil Nadu are very dry. Kerala, of course, has sufficient rainfall, but Kerala doesn't have the culture that we want to be in. It's too much Christian influence there. So we were thinking of going way, way down south, Thanjavur. And Thanjavur is a lovely place. Lots of, there's lots of rice fields and paddies, and there's even lakes, right? Big lakes right next to the town. And the towns aren't big. They're not centralized. They're like broken up into little pieces. And even though there's a big temple complex right in the center of Thanjavur, most of the town is like on the outskirts. And there's big lakes and huge expanses of fields and all that in between. And so, we could probably go down to a place like that and get land fairly cheap and put some cows on it and, put a couple houses on it and get it going pretty quickly. But like I said, I want to wait until the land prices are reasonable. Right now, they're still, I think they're like too high, 50% or more. Beyond their real value. And we also want to wait until the currency stabilizes. Right now the whole currency thing is very shaky, very iffy. And it's very likely there's going to be a big devaluation of the currency. So that's going to make the prices in any market very volatile, very unstable. So we want to kind of just wait until things settle down before we actually buy. Now then, once we buy the land and we develop it a little bit, then the people who have contributed to the trust would be members, just like we had life members program up until now. So then we want to have like trust members, or we could still call them life members, doesn't matter. But anyway, if you buy a share in the trust, and we'll have to figure out, how much that's going to be worth and all of that. Those details we don't have all the information yet. But it's probably going to be about the same as so far our life membership. And basically what you get for that is that you can come to India and we'll have some arrangement with the university or something to get long-term visas, entry visas for staff members. And you'll be able to stay on that property, and we'll have a community there, and it may be very simple, it may be just grass huts. I'd be very comfortable in a grass hut in South India. The kind where you can lift up the sides and the breeze comes through, and it's very nice. The floor is cow dung and sand and a little bit of lime, and it keeps away all the bugs and snakes because they don't like it. They don't like the cow dung. Cow dung is very pure. So they're just built of bamboo. You put one big bamboo in a bow like that, and then you put others as like ribs, and then you put the grass on top of that, and it's very nice. So this is spiritual life, Vaishnava life, very simple life. For preaching, we'll have a place in the town, wherever we decide. If we start working with Prist University, then it might be there. They're even talking about building something for us, which I think is a little like extreme, but if they have the money, hey, why not? If we had a purpose-built headquarters, then we could do very nice preaching with the videos and internet, and of course they would have a fast network connection, and so we could stream video and everything like we're doing. But wherever we land for the first year or so, we're probably going to be in a town where we have good internet access and we can continue our online preaching, because that is really, of course, right now our main teaching medium, through the internet. And we're going to continue that in India, but we also want to license our content to the universities. So we're going to have, we actually already have esotericteaching.in. We already got that. And right now it's just connected to our regular site. But I think eventually we want to have like a local Indian site with, you know, different languages and like that, so everybody can access the content in their own language. You know, have videos with subtitles and all like that. But that's going to take a big effort.